We've done quite a lot of work that we haven't been videoing, but here's a look at one large piece of work, which was getting rid of most of the bamboo. So as you can see, it was very predominant. Just Paul was working on it there, and it took up the whole of that bank. So there's a huge amount of cutting it back, nearly all by hand, and then digging up the roots took some considerable time. As you can see, it's all gone. Well, not every last bit of it, but hopefully at some stage we will get rid of every last bit of it. I've piled the roots into mostly just freshly dug bits in big untidy piles, but like this pile has been very carefully manicured.
Work of art, that pile.
And made into small bits. And this is how we did it. This is quite near the end of this breaking up roots project. So to start off with, we were just breaking them up by any means, and that makes ever such a lot of work, because each little fragment of the bamboo rhizome can grow, so there's ever such a lot of picking them up. But we discovered this technique where you sort of pick it up with the thumb and bend it over, but then in between every session of doing that, there's a session of picking up, little bits that they look a bit like ginger, actually. In fact, we were calling them ginger. I think they would grow. I think they've got energy to grow. So here we first of all pick off the soil and the tiny roots from the back of it and put them in a pile, and then we pick up the root by one end and then bend it over this rather tough bit of root that we've got sitting there. That root was almost indestructible, so it became our work platform. And then flick it up, grab it, push it down on that lump, break a bit more off. So the trick is to break it into small enough pieces that we could easily lift it and deal with getting rid of it, but not so small that we make too many bits to pick up by hand. We don't think the very small roots can regenerate. The ones that are like as thick as your little finger and above, that's still a lot of roots though. When we were cutting down this bamboo, we did wonder about using the chainsaw, but in our case there's so much junk hidden in the bamboo that we would have had to just chainsaw them off very high, whereas cutting them off by hand with the secateurs, we could then stand on the stumps to keep on working. If they're too long, you can't really walk on them, especially on a slope. It's altogether a nasty plant. So these are the little fine roots that we don't think will grow. These orangey ones, well, they're orangey here because of the sand they've been growing on. So we'll just leave them munge back in. There's building another pile of bits that are the right size to wheelbarrow's gone over, right size to lift without hurting your back. And off we go on another one. It was quite satisfying. Oh, there's a bit of plastic come out of that one. Toilet seat, if I remember correctly. I also did a fair bit of tamping the ground down in between each session, so that it makes it easier to find the bits and fork through them. Picking off the fine roots and putting them over this side, so they're easy to fork over and find the bits that might grow. Oh, found a spoon. And yeah, quite a lot more of that. And then we did it. We finished. Finished for the day, but we did tidy up. Shut the gate and off we go.